Welcome to another episode of TaskHuman Talks. I'm your host and fellow wellness provider, Jamie Carroll. Today, all the way from India, I have one of our parenting coaches, Rekha Vaghela. I'm saying that right? Right? Rekha Vaghela. And she is here to jam with us on all things parenting. So thank you so much for joining me today, Rekha. We're so excited to have you on. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Jamie.
Yeah.
It's my pleasure to be with you and have this conversation. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. And so let's dive into your journey to becoming a parenting coach. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Sure. My parenting journey started way back in 2010 when I had my second child, while I was working also. And I found that it was getting little challenging managing two children, work, and family priorities. Although I had a work from home option, and that was quite helping me, but still it was getting quite intense sometimes.
Okay.
And with that situation, I managed for almost 4 years. And
Wow.
then it came a point that I had to decide that, okay, it's time to take break. And that was in September 2014, where I chose to spend time with my family while growing up with the children.
Okay.
And that is when the real journey started. I understood deeply what exactly the children needs are and why there are so many tantrums and behaviors, and which led me to do a lot of research, read books, meet different other parents who had certain concerns, and I did dive. And that I can say that parenting journey started with parenting myself first,
Yeah.
and with a lot of studies, a lot of programs that I attended, spoke to many experts, and that is how from 2015 I started talking to many other parents and started sharing my learning and also understanding and helping them what are some of the ways that we can work as a better parent.
I love this. Thank you for sharing that. And you do work with your husband, correct? Am I correct in saying that now? Like he does some coaching with you too?
Yes, yes. He
Okay.
does the natural healing part
Okay.
from more of the, since he's having a science background, he takes care of the overall development of the children
Okay.
from food and other habits.
Awesome. I love it. So, when it comes to parenting, working with parents who have children, what is your philosophy around it?
Okay, so what I discovered in my journey that being a parent means you need to have a lot of self-management,
Okay.
and self-management is nothing but regulating yourself, regulating one's emotions when there are so many things are happening, because we are juggling with so many balls at the same time, along with children, along with lot many other priorities. So once we have that self-regulation, we become more happier parent. And with that happier state of mind, we come across as a happy parent to children. And when children see us happy, they also naturally become happy. And in turn, we lead towards the happy family. So that is how the entire cycle works, from being a parent to happy family.
I love this too because you're saying that in order to be a better parent, basically, it starts with yourself. And I feel like
Yes,
that's almost like the key to so many things in life, right? Like if
yes,
you want this or you want that, it's like back to you, which is
correct.
really because that's the only thing that we can control. So I love how you are really helping parents to take that same concept, which can be applied to even other areas in their life.
Yes, many areas. And it is quite, yes, it may sound easy to say, but when it comes to practical approach, it has its own. Start navigating through the process. Slowly you discover yourself more, and then start connecting with the children by first connecting with yourself. And that is how that journey becomes more discovery for yourself as a parent, as an individual, which leads you to many other areas more successfully.
Awesome. So when you're working with these parents and the first step is or the big philosophy is self-regulation and self-management, How are you helping them with this initially? Like, what are some tips that you're giving the parents to begin that journey of self-regulation?
Right. So first, I understand what exactly some of the concerns and challenges that they look at it uh, from their perspective. And when I hear them and understand them more, it comes to a conclusion that it is more to work with individuals' working styles, individuals looking at their own way of looking at various priorities, and that is what leads them. Whether I right now say I have 4 tasks, whether my work time will be more allotted as a parent or as a partner or as a professional or as a person, where I know that I have to give that time to myself without filling my own cup. I cannot really give that out to all the others who are waiting for me. So once they start understanding that it all begins with me, how much I am stable and calm and composed is what is going to lead them to fulfill all other roles in a different way and in a better way.
Okay. I love this. And one of the things you use is called a human values based program, right? And your coaching. What does that mean? What is a human values based approach, I guess?
Yes. So what I believe existence of humans totally dependent on the way we look at life, and it has to be driven by certain values because
Mm.
we are all here on this planet with certain intention. So
Yeah.
as a parent, we hold that responsibility in a very big way because I believe that as a parent, we are the architecture of the child's future. We are developing those individuals who are going to lead the nation in future. So what are some of the uh, core values that we give? And that is not something we can just give it in terms of some object, but it is through our actions, through our thoughts, through our behaviors, through our day-to-day moments where children are observing us, they are living with us, and we all know that role modeling is one of the important area in parenting where children are very good at imitating you
Right.
and they are not very good at listening to you. So that is where the values play a very important role in terms of developing a entire personality over a period of time.
Okay, I love this. And so, when's the best time to teach children human values? And I guess it sounds like we're just doing this by just living our lives, right?
Yes.
Um, so I guess it's parents needing to get more clear on how they are living their lives and the values they are showing that are being shown to their children. So, is there like a time that you would recommend parents begin looking at the values that they're showing to their children? Is there a time that's too young or too is it too late ever? Like, what is an age?
Well, the way I look at it, the journey begins of the child development since the time mother has conceived,
Okay.
because it is that moment of time till the child throughout in that womb when child is there for the 9 months. Actually, parenting has been already started because whatever the mother and the other people around, and primarily mother, I would say the activities that she's involved, what she's thinking, what she's feeling, what she's eating, what are
Mhm.
the certain moods that she's going through affects a lot. And somewhere it gets registered in the subconscious mind of the child. And over a period of time, those do get manifested in certain behaviors of the child. And I see when parents are more aware that what are some of the core things that I want to pass on to my children, they have to start practicing them as early as possible. So I would say there is no time period. Okay, once your child comes, then you can start maybe thinking more better or doing X, Y, Z activity. So sooner the better would be the right approach. I would say as soon as
Okay.
you plan that okay, we need to have baby, let's go ahead. And what are some of the core things that we are looking at for our children?
And so this is something you're helping parents with is establishing the values that they want to be able to pass on to their children and then
Yes,
how they can live those values out so and the different ways that the child is noticing. how these values play.
I want to add one of the acronym which I tell all my parents when they connect with me. Watch your watch. So I'm not talking about this watch. It is about watch your words, watch your actions, watch your thoughts, watch your character, and watch your heart. It all going to culminate in certain values, the way you're going to carry yourself over a period of time.
Awesome. Okay. And one thing I want to touch on too is emotional intelligence. So that's another thing you talk a lot about in your programs is emotional intelligence. What is emotional intelligence? Why is it important? Like why should we know about it?
Emotional intelligence, I see as a very crucial uh, intelligence along with other intelligence that we talk about. To develop the emotional intelligence, empathy plays a very important role. It is a foundation of emotional intelligence, and it is also important for effective parenting. So, as a parent, how we really connect with our child, how do we understand them, how do we listen to them, is going to make a lot of difference. It is going to wire their brain over a period of time. In fact, it starts even from day one, the way we hold the child, the way we caress the child, the way we love the child, the way we respond to the child. These are all part of emotional intelligence because child is learning from you how to take care of oneself, how to respond. So the child will feel more trusted, more safe, more secure. And that is how I see emotional intelligence is one of the crucial skills each parent needs to learn and develop as they are getting towards the journey of developing a better and highly emotional intelligent child.
So it sounds like the emotional intelligence piece is like the connection we have to our child or to our
Yes.
children. Okay. What is
Correct.
it? Is there a tip that you can give parents out there? Like, what is a way that they can start building this, like better emotional intelligence with their child? What's something
Okay.
simple?
So many times parents complain that my child is not listening to me, my child is not really paying attention. So here I would relate with the emotional intelligence as a parent you display when child comes with certain behavioral tantrum or when child has certain issue, and so how deeply you listen to them, how deeply you understand their need. We may not fulfill all the need, but at least we connect with them to that level so that we are able to acknowledge it, appreciate it, and help the child to express it, and then we can work further to what extent we can fulfill it. And that is where the parents need a lot of patience, a lot of perseverance also. And I see that as a challenge, especially for parents who are working and also for parents who really don't know how to really use certain skills so that we can uh, ask in a certain way so child will respond, and for which we also need to become aware about our own level of emotion, that are we ready all the time or not. And that is where it's a continuous process where one has to always refine as and when the situations are coming.
Is there anything that you commonly see parents doing or saying when they're thinking that they're building connection or trying to understand their child that really doesn't work?
Yes, primarily there are a lot of tantrums in terms of fulfilling the demands, the needs.
Yeah.
Like the way the world that we are living in is getting immediately. The moment you put certain your on thing, okay, there are some parents who get it immediately, but there are some parents who delay it and who try to make them understand and who will try to also make the child understand that yes, it is important, but you need to wait. You will get at certain time after certain period, so that the child will also learn to delay that gratification and not get into the pattern of getting immediately. And here it requires a lot of effort and patience from the parent side. And that is where our own emotional intelligence, our own self regulation will play a very important role, the way we handle those day to day situations. Because what formula worked yesterday may not work tomorrow. So it has to be dynamic approach all the time.
Yeah. So like not, it sounds like what I heard you say was not like immediately gratifying the child with what they want or
Yes.
need,
Yes.
like learning to pause that. Okay. Okay. Awesome. I
Yeah.
love that. Um, I'm trying to think of where I want to go next with this. Okay. So some people might say it's not controlling, right? I'm not controlling my child. I'm disciplining my child. Is there a line that you draw between what's controlling, what's discipline?
Yes, there is a major difference when you control the child and when you discipline the child. Controlling is it is more of a dictatorship. It is more of commanding, authoritating, and it is like my way or highway. You just listen to me what I say because I'm the parent.
Mhm.
Whereas disciplining with certain positive limits is a very win-win approach. It is two-sided, where child is getting an opportunity to share his or her viewpoints, and child understood. There may be a need which may not fulfill immediately, but child gets a logical reasoning for that, and which is easily accepted by the child. And this limits helps child and parents over a period of time to build a positive connection and a good relationship.
Okay, so can you give us an example of like a situation that would be dictatorship or sorry, rather controlling and a situation that would be more like discipline?
Okay. So, for example, many times parents will say, okay, you will go for XYZ course because that is what more suitable to you. I see that you are good at in
Okay.
terms of choosing certain career or a profession.
Okay.
Whereas if it is a more of in terms of if you have disciplined approach, you will also understand the child, what are his interests, areas of passion, so that there is an opportunity given of hearing to the child, understanding what makes child, and probably that may not be the liking of the parent, but still parent is giving an opportunity to child so that they understand each other needs, and then they come out with a solution which is win-win for both of them.
Okay, awesome. So it's like
So
not
you're
telling the child what they should be doing. Or you're good at this,
yes,
you should be an artist. You're good at drawing, you should do this, right? It's like inviting that child, no matter
yes,
how
there is
old they are, to tell us what they want to do, right?
right. It
Okay.
is a more of an invitation approach rather than just a direction approach.
Okay. Awesome. I love that. Okay. Um, you coach now that you're on TaskHuman, which we love. You coach with parents from all over the world, right? So do you notice a difference in a parenting style between parents in India, for example, between parents in the States? What kind of differences do you see with the people that you work with?
Right. One major difference which I see where the parents from West are more open, they are more liberal to give that independence to children to explore their interests, their ideas. Whereas in India, still there are certain parents who may not allow their children to go as per their choice and interest. So there is this authoritative approaches there. Okay, because I know better than you, I have seen the life better, so you better go with the selection and ideas that I'm suggesting you. So there is a difference of opinion. Again, it varies the kind of background and family one is coming from. If they have
Right.
become little advanced and they are open to listen, then probably the scenario will be little different.
Okay, so do you approach your parent like when you're working with parents from different cultures, do you is it still the same approach that you're taking?
Yes, first I need to understand what do they consider the most important for them. Is it a child happiness or is it their happiness? And that is where the entire approach one can make out easily that okay, I want the child to happy, but there are certain conditions are there, and
Mhm.
what are those conditions are going to decide and help either win-win or win-lose to child and parent both. And then we my role will be to help them understand if the child is
more a teenager, then probably I would invite them to have more dialogue, more understanding, and more discussion, because that is going to lead them to a better ideas and better solutions rather than just going with that narrow approach.
Okay, awesome. So it sounds like you're still using the values based, the emotional intelligence, getting the child
Yes.
involved in the decision. So, like, that approach doesn't change. Is there a reason that you think maybe like the West, for example, is a little bit more allowing of children to be independent? Do you have any thoughts around that?
Yes, so if I look at India, does have certain traditional values based parenting
Yeah.
where the head of the family would have certain say and would have certain guidelines for
Okay.
all the family members to follow. And we also have the joint family systems in certain parts of the country. And there, this matters a lot because it has its own plus in terms of the way child is learning and gathering the insights from all the family members. So I value that, and somewhere it is now phasing away because of the modern working and the way the corporates are emerging in the urban part of the country. So
Yeah.
more nuclear families are emerging. So
Okay.
we are seeing that the joint family culture is reducing a lot.
Okay, that's fascinating. Do you find one culture of parents easier to work with than another type, or most people who come to you pretty open to change?
Most of them are open to change because otherwise they would have not come to me, because
Yeah.
they see there is a challenge and they would like to see what best can be done if they have to really enhance their relationship and move forward in life.
Yeah, and I can imagine too that like in India, like having more of those values, right? Where you got, it's like the certain roles that people are expected to play that's been passed down for generation after generation can be hard to want to let go of if that's something that you think is like important to your role in society. You know what I mean? Do you think that like in India, I know that there are some very strong traditional values that being passed down from generation to generation can be a little bit maybe harder for some people to let go of. Do you find that's true when you're working in that culture?
Yes, at times it's a little difficult, but when I understand them and connect at a deeper level, they do find that those values are really important
Yeah.
because, as we all know, the values are those deep rooted roots of the tree, and which is very much required when there is a certain challenging situations or when there is some kind of problem. So these family members, these values, if they are together, it helps them to pass through that phase easily, and it brings them more closer and help them to understand that these are some of the gems which one should never leave or get away. And that is how they appreciate the importance of values over a period of time.
Can some of those values, though, be considered somewhat controlling? If the husband's supposed to be and the breadwinner and the children are supposed to live with the parents of the husband and things like that, can that be a little bit controlling where it can be beneficial to let go of some of those like more traditional values? Like I just wonder if sometimes we hold on to values because we think that this is where my lineage is, this is what I'm supposed to do, as opposed to is it really going to be the most beneficial for the children moving forward or for my own life, if that makes sense.
I have not found that happening because people are quite understanding, and in fact, the Indian value system is quite different. I mean, we always teach our children, and the way we have been passed on that. The way why we are here on this planet is not just to take, but one of our purpose is to give and to serve to humanity, and family is just the small unit of that entire big family that we are part of. So people do value. In fact, if I share the recent pandemic situation, more people have now become aware about the importance of family living together,
Right.
connecting, and then because this is what is ultimately going to bring them those happy moments, that liveliness, that togetherness.
Right.
Then money becomes secondary. So yes, there will be certain exceptions would be there who has that money as their priority, but not for all. I mean, I would not say as a generalized statement for all.
Yeah, and I guess it can really just depend, that can come from any culture too, where certain values it may just be time to let go of, and then we learn and shift
Right.
and change with circumstances in life as well. And I guess it's really too, it's all about communication, right? Communicating and learning what your values are and how you are sharing those with your children. And
Yeah.
which kind of brings me to another question I had, which was what's a way that we can communicate with our children better? Do you have any tips around that?
Yes. Let me also share some of the values which I call it as a universal values.
Okay.
So, and it is applicable to all, irrespective of the part of the globe that you are. So, love is one of them, trust that one can build with each other, respect for each other, right conduct. I'm sure each country will have their own certain way of presenting oneself and carry themselves. So those right conduct, and I would add here as a humanitarian approach. So it doesn't matter from where you come from. Ultimately, we are all human beings and we all have that common thread among us, and we need to just ensure that there is enough peace, there is enough love, there is enough trust, and there is enough respect so that we are all one together ultimately, and that is how we can make this planet more beautiful and more uh, place, in effect we can live that for our future generations. And I feel parents play a very important role where they don't live with their limited boundary, but they just expand their horizons, and they just say that okay, wherever, whichever part of the globe you are ultimately going to live with these values, which is going to always keep you in a state of joy and not just that momentarily happiness.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that. The universal values for all people all over the world. I
Yes,
love
thank
that.
you.
Okay. So back to that communication. How can we build stronger communication?
Yes. So one is we need to have patient listening. We also call it sometimes active listening. You just speak less but listen more. That is one of the foundation of effective communication between parent and child, because most of the problems when I see and meet with parents, there's misunderstanding, there is this not getting each across well. And the if you look at surface below the carpet, then it is those small misunderstanding which is not allowing them to come closer and to understand each other. Speak less and listen more, understand what is the meaning behind the words, because many times the people will not, in fact even children will not directly tell you that okay, I have this problem, but they will show that in through certain misbehavior or certain tantrum which parents fail to understand. And let me also share, these all things are not taught to us in any of the university or any, we don't have the structured course for it. Like if we go for any other professional degree, there are 5 years, 6 years, we study a lot. But parenting, which is, I call it as one of the crucial profession, I think each one needs to really understand that okay, how can I become a better parent, how can I understand my children
Yes.
better, how can I connect with them better, so that we can have that long lasting relationship and we appreciate each other in a better way.
I love all of this. Is there any other tips or techniques or tools or anything that you want to share with everyone?
Sure. So the one which I already told you, watch your watch.
Yeah.
The second one that I would like to share is the 3S model, which I have developed. I work around with parents on that. So I want each parent to adopt the principle of accepting their children, uh, acknowledging their children, and also appreciating their children, whatever they are doing, and avoiding these three C's, that is comparison, complaint, and criticizing, and allowing children to explore things, experience things, and also experiment, because that is what is going to help them to lead their potential, to uh, understand that, okay, this is what I'm good at, this is what I can do better. So unless we allow that, it's not going to come out.
Okay. So what did you call this model? The
3S model, ACE.
3C model.
Yes. Then one more.
But let me just make sure I have this right, because I was writing fast, so I want to make sure I got it all down. Accepting, acknowledging, and appreciating your children.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
And avoiding. So we want to avoid comparison,
Yes.
complaining, and
Yes.
criticizing.
Yes.
Okay. And then allowing our children to explore, experience, and experiment.
Yes.
I love that. Okay. Thank you. Then you're going to share something else too.
Yes. There's one more acronym that I can give is 3H. So there should be combination and coordination between head, heart, and hand, between both the partners, because children are very smart. So unless both husband and wife have this good cohesion of this 3H, they can have a lot of great partnership and bonding when they are raising the children. So always have this close coordination between all the 3H.
So head, heart, and what was the third one?
Hand, the actions that we take.
Head, heart, and hand.
Yes.
Okay, great. Awesome. Anything else? This has been really insightful. Thank you so much for being here and sharing all of this with us.
Yes, my pleasure.
Yeah.
That's all. I think we have
We
spoken.
covered a lot today. Yeah. So if you're out there and you're on the TaskHuman app and you're needing or wanting to discover how you can have a deeper, more fulfilling relationship with your child, then you're definitely going to want to reach out to Rekha on the app. She can help you with establishing values, the emotional intelligence, and just building better communication and a better relationship with your child, no matter what the age. Right. So I think that's so important. All right. Well, once again, Rekha, thank you so much for joining us. It was lovely to have you all the way from India. Thanks again. And thanks to all of our listeners.
Thank you, Jamie.
Yes, you're welcome. I'll see you guys next time.